afternoon. Glad you could join us today. So let's get started talking about mystery iPhone tips on Go for Lunch for May the 12th, 2026. Brought to you by GoFor Technology. I'm Roger Harmon, your host, and we're here to make your technology work for you. Well, it is National Odometer Day. A reminder maybe to check that little sticker on your windshield and see if your car is requiring service, and contact your service provider and make an appointment to keep your car well maintained on National Odometer Day. Well, there are many features Apple doesn't make known easily, and these are iOS features that can make your iPhone and your iPad more useful. The first one we're going to talk about is keyboard efficiency, and that is the trackpad and the one-handed mode. And welcome Denny and Judy. So you can turn your keyboard into a trackpad. This is very handy. All you do is long press on the space bar, and then you can move the cursor just anywhere you want. So let's see how that works. We're going to unlock our iPhone here, and let's see here. Just a second. Come on, iPhone. There we go. Okay. And all right. So here we have our iPhone. As usual, on the right is the actual iPhone, so you can see what I'm doing. And on the other side is the direct connection to the computer, so it's a little clearer. So what we're going to do is go into some place where we can create text. So we're going to go to email, and we're going to go to a new message. We're going to tap down here in the text area, and we're going to hold down on the space bar, and look at that. The keyboard disappears, and I can move the cursor anywhere I want. So we're just going to go over here after iPhone and type in 16, iPhone 16, and on iOS 26.3, which actually probably needs to be updated. And again, if I press on the space bar, I have a trackpad. So that is very handy. I hope you all learn how to do that, because you will be glad you did. So while we're here, we've got in the lower left-hand corner our globe, and if you touch the globe, you get a choice of a left keyboard, a right keyboard, or a center keyboard. So the center keyboard is the default. We'll hit the left keyboard, and now if you are so inclined, you can type on the left keyboard with your thumb. There's two ways to get out of this. There's an arrow here, a white little arrow, may not be easy to see right here. You can get out that way and go back to the regular keyboard, or you can go to the globe again and go back to the regular keyboard. So hopefully those will help you be more flexible with editing things on your iPad. Then we have media management. We have drag and drop and document scanning. So let's go back to our iPhone, and you can grab multiple files or images. Usually you're going to use this with images, so we're going to go to Photos, and we're going to clear out our rehearsal here. Okay, so we're going to go to get out of search. There we go. Okay, so what you do is let's go back here and talk about what you do. You can move multiple media at one time. So you tap and hold the first file or image, and then you use another finger to select more images. And then you can drag the group into another app. You do that by dragging up from the bottom of the screen, tap on the receiving app, and then you let go of the images. So here we are. So we're going to tap on, so you want to use your middle finger to select the first one, so you have your index finger here available to grab additional ones. So here we're going to tap on this. This takes a little bit of practice. So here we go. So we're going to tap there, and then we're just going to tap another one. You see there's a little 2 there. Tap another one. Now there's a 3 there. We can go up here and tap on this one. There's a 4. So now we have 4 images. So I'm going to swipe up from the bottom with my thumb, and then I'm going to go over here to text and voice and go into messages and drop my iPhone. So let's get that back on track here. There we go. So that did not work. I don't want to send those to Gina, but you see how it works. So those went into Gina, and then I hit resend, and she will get all 4 of those images. So that's the way that works. So the other thing we can do is scan documents. So we're going to go into the Files app. So we're going to search for Files. There it is. And we're going to go find some app here that we want to drop things into. And actually, I'm looking for the Downloads app, or Downloads folder. Okay, where did Downloads go? So we can search for Downloads. There we go. So now we're in our Downloads folder. So then up in the upper right hand corner, we can hit the 3 dots. And you'll notice the second item there is Scan Documents. So we click on that, and we're going to get a document over here. And take our iPhone, and you see it automatically scanned the document. So here we are. So that is the document, and it pretty well did a pretty good scan. And if we want to try it again, we can do that. So now we have 2 documents, and it did a third one actually, so you have to kind of take it off. So that's how you can scan a document, and so that went into the Downloads folder on our iPhone. So let's get our iPhone lined up here. There we go. Get our document out of the way and move on to Spotlight Mastery. So you can use your Spotlight search on your iPhone for a calculator and conversions. So you tap on search at the bottom of the screen, and you can swipe, or if you have an older operating system, you can swipe down between the app icons, and it will do math problems, and it will do currency conversions. So here we are on our iPhone again. So you notice here, if you have a later version of the iOS operating system, thank you for that thumbs up, then you can hit on search. If you have an older version, you just swipe down between the icons and you get to search. So we can do math. So we're going to go into our numbers, 12, and the asterisk is the multiplier times 12, and you can see up here that's 144. So that's how you can do math. Another little trick is if you hit enter down here, the white arrow in the blue background, it'll actually take you right into the calculator. So that's another nice little trick. But we want to go back to search. So we're going to go back here, tap on search, clear our search. And now this time we want to do a conversion. So we're going to put in 1, and we're going to tell it that this is a dollar, so that's USD, and it tells us that that is pesos. So you can also do that calculation in the calculator. You can see $5 is 4.26 pesos. So we're going to go back to search, and we can also do conversions. So if we put in 1L for liter, we can see that that is 1.057 quarts. So search is very handy to do conversions and math. Next, we have visual intelligence, so you can identify things that you have a picture of. So you can take a picture of a plant or an animal, or you can look up a landmark. So you have to view the picture in the Photos app to make this work, because it doesn't work on your camera roll. And then you click on the little eye at the bottom of the screen. So let's see how that works. So here we are back at our iPhone. We're going to go into Photos. Okay, so here's a plant. So we click on that, and the little circle will turn to an eye right there. And we click on the eye, and it says horseweed. So we click on horseweed, and it tells us that it's a species of plant, and we can look at the Wikipedia article and find out all about horseweed. It's native to North America and South America, and interesting fact, it was the first weed to have developed a glyphosate, which is, I'm mispronouncing that, is Roundup, I think, resistance, and that was in 2001 in Delaware. So we're going to get out of there, get out of there. So now we can use our search to find a dog. So here's a dog. So we search on the dog, and we hit our little eye. It actually turned to a dog there. Now it turned back to an eye. And so this is a Shih Tzu. So we tap on Shih Tzu, and then we read the Wikipedia article. And Shih Tzu is a dog breed originating from Tibet and believed to be bred from a Pekingese and a Lhasa Apso, something like that. So there you go. And another thing we can do is get out of there and get out of our search. So we're going to cancel our search, and now we're going to look for a landmark. So normally you're not going to search for the landmark. You're going to have a landmark that you want to know about. So it has a little map pin in the circle, then it turns to an eye. So we click on this. It says look up landmark, and it identifies it as the Mission San Javier del Bac. And so we read the Wikipedia article. Tells us that it was established in 1692, and that Fallerkino, of course, established it that year. So that is how you can do that. Next, we have the sleep timer. So you can auto stop your media when you're listening to something, or maybe even watching something, and you want it to turn off after you fall asleep. So you do that by opening the clock app, navigating to timers, and tap when timer ends, and then you scroll all the way to the bottom and select stop playing, and you click on set in the top right hand corner for your duration, and you start the timer. So here we are. So we're going to go to the clock app. So normally you would come out maybe here, be an alarm. So you go to timers in the lower right hand corner. And then here in the middle you see when timer ends. So normally it's going to be on a tone, but here you can see normally you're going to come up here, it's going to be at the top. So you go all the way to the bottom and you click on stop playing. And then you hit set here at the top right hand corner, and you start your timer, and then when that runs out it will stop playing any media that you have playing. So that's handy to keep your phone from going all night. So now we have back tap. So this is a hidden shortcut. So you can tap the back of your phone and make it into a functional shortcut. You do that by going to Settings, Physical and Motor, and Touch. So you scroll to the bottom and select Back Tap. Then you assign an action to that, like a camera or a low power mode. And you can have it either as a double tap or a triple tap. So let's see here how that goes. So we go here to Settings. So we're going to get out of that so we can see how you get into it. So here you go. Accessibility is right below General. And then you scroll down here to Physical and Motor, and the Touch is the first thing. And then you scroll all the way down to the second thing from the bottom, and that's Back Tap. So you can see that we had it turned on. So right now we have the double tap assigned to screenshot and the triple tap assigned to flashlight. But there are a bunch of things that you can assign. Here's the camera. You can assign control center. You can assign all sorts of things to either double or triple tap. So we're going to go here. So we have the flashlight assigned to the triple tap. So we're going to click our phone and triple tap, and look at that. There's the flashlight. Unfortunately, you can't tap the back to turn it off. You have to go to Settings, Control Center, and turn it off from there. So there you go. So kind of a problem with the double tap is it's really easy to trigger it when you're putting your phone down on the table or moving it around. So you may want to just use the triple tap for your most important shortcuts. It requires a more deliberate rhythmic action, and almost, not never, but almost never happens by accident. So you want to maybe assign the primary action, like a camera or flashlight, to the triple tap, and then leave the double trap set to none so you don't have any surprises. So that takes us to questions. Do me a favor and give us a thumbs up. That has the algorithm show this to more people. And share the GoFor Gazette, which comes to you every Monday morning at 7 o'clock, with anybody you know that uses Apple devices so we can help more people. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Hit that little bell, and you will be notified every time we are live. And we have a new feature here we're trying out today. So hopefully in your comments there's a poll pinned to the top of the comments. So please take the poll, and that will work if you're viewing this on the replay. Thanks for joining us on the replay. So answer the poll. It's just a simple yes or no question, and we will talk about that next week. So let's see. Looks like we've got some comments here. Thanks for the thumbs ups. And welcome, Alice. And let's see. So the question Leslie Ann has is, how is scan different from taking a photo? Well, the scan does more than a photo. A photo just takes an exact picture of what you're looking at, but the scan will square up the document and crop it so it just includes the whole document. So it's a little more precise than taking a photo. And Alice has been thinking about this too. Not sure what you've been thinking about, but that's good. And oh, I see, you're talking about a scanner. So you have a scanner at home, but a lot of times it's easier to do it with your phone. And Leslie Ann asks, will a tap back work with protective covering? Yeah, I think so. My phone has a heavy-duty case, and actually when I was rehearsing, well, let's just do it right now. This is a magnet right here. See, it worked even through the magnet. So yes, it will work through a protective case. So good question. Let's see, where are we here? And thank you, Alice, for sharing the channel with your friends. And you don't see the poll. Okay, well, I guess okay, so you don't see the poll either. Okay, so the poll was supposed to appear magically at 15 minutes, at 12:15. So I guess that didn't work. So we'll try the poll next time. So thank you for letting me know that the poll didn't work. I'm just learning how to use polls on YouTube, and it was supposed to automatically appear, but it didn't. So we will keep trying polls until we figure out how it works. So if you have any questions after we finish, you can always call me or email me. That information will be coming up on the slide at the end. So tune again next week for another Go for Lunch at high noon on Tuesday. Have a great week.